Hi, Julie Jones from SSP Performance, Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training. Here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week, brought to you by Game Day Sportswear. Call Gina or Kim, 330-882-4005, or go to shopgameday.net. They can help you anywhere in the country, get you everything you need for your team. Embroidered, lasered, whatever, all the different things, they can get it for you. I just used the things that we're going to talk about today because this is my third recording because I can't get my camera functioning appropriately today. But we're talking about harnessing the power of our breath. I just had to take a few deep ones because I was like not happy when I looked down and saw that I wasn't recording for the past 2 times that I tried this. But this all started last week when I was out on a run with my son. He starts cross country on Thursday at middle school level. So we've got to practice. We've got to make sure that we're ready because you don't go to cross country practice for the first day not having run since last November. So we've been out on a few runs, and this past end of the week, I had to get him out onto the beach to run because we were spending a little bit of time with my sister. He would have rather stayed in playing video games and eating lots of breakfast food, but no, his mom gets him out there in the heat, in the wind, in the sand, and here we go. And he was not a happy camper. Not a happy camper. We get going, we're at a pace that he can manage, and all of a sudden, he starts to labor in his breathing. His unproductive mindset, not happy, heavy with his feet, body posture's bad, not enjoying this, obviously not really having a lot of conversation with me because, he doesn't really want to be there. All of a sudden, now he's starting to labor, and it's getting hard. And we're going at a pace that he can run any day. But we're getting into a little bit of trouble. And it's not going to be fun for the rest of our run if we don't do something about it. So I switched into coach mode, and I started giving him external cues, thanks to Nick Winkelman and the Language of Coaching, great book. And we then shift from the external cues of focus to managing and thinking about how he's breathing. We've done breathing exercises before. He understands it, but when he's all worked up and he's an emotional, a little bit of a disaster and he got hijacked because he's just ticked, it makes it harder. We don't practice enough for him to be able to implement it on his own. So I had to help lead him through it. We know, I know that breathing makes a big difference in how we perform. Breathing practices can influence whether or not we go to sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, or we can work ourselves into the parasympathetic nervous system where we need to be our best. Now, granted, there are times when breathing rapidly can help us and give us a boost to get us going, but we can't stay there. We can't function there. So in the situation that we were in, had he continued to breathe like that, we would have had to stop. There was no way we were going to finish if we would have stayed in that state. So when our breathing becomes erratic or rapid, it sends our body into a place where we can't perform appropriately. In fact, it can cause dizziness, it can cause muscle twitching, it causes cognitive delays or a little bit of frustration and the inability to think. So we've got to do something about it instead of getting stuck in this situation. We know also that if we get too much carbon dioxide buildup in our body, or not, if we don't have enough, it's not good. And that's what happens when we breathe rapidly. But if we get too much in our body, that alerts our brain that says, ding, 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 something's wrong. And on either situation, we're not going to be at our best. So what can we do? We'll talk about that in just a minute. But in the meantime, we need to realize there are lots of reasons that we need to practice our breathing before we get out there on the beach and we're all in a tiz. As I already mentioned, it can help us shift to our parasympathetic nervous system. This is really, really important, right? This promotes relaxation and reduces our body's stress response. If we practice, we can get good at this, and then we can implement with a breath or two while we're out there. It also, as I mentioned, can balance our oxygen and carbon dioxide levels, right? Proper breathing helps maintain optimal levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, which stabilizes mood, improves emotional regulation. It calms our nervous system and reduces our emotional reactivity, so helps us chill out a little bit. This enhances, practice obviously enhances our mindfulness. It helps us be more present. It gives us an opportunity to use power move number 2, our response ability. Slows down our brain waves, helps us think better. Blood stays in our brain and flows around, helps us say, okay, this happened. I can stop for a second and figure this out, even if it's just a split second, and then I can respond in a way that is going to make everything better. Helps our decision making. It improves our cognitive function and helps us be more clear under pressure, right? If you go to heartmath.org or the HeartMath Institute, they talk about coherent breathing at a normal pace can increase heart rate variability, which I measure on my Whoop, and lots of you probably do too. And that's associated with better emotional regulation. We benefit from improved focus, heightened cognitive ability through the activation of our prefrontal cortex. That's the brain region responsible for decision making and executive function. It helps us think. It also, and we forget about this, think about the last time you were at the doctor. They said, okay, take a deep breath in and then exhale slowly. You think they're doing that to take your attention, but that also helps manage pain. Studies show that deep breathing can reduce the perception of pain by modulating the body's path pain ways. So these modulators are the same ones, emotional or physical pain, they're the same ones. We can help manage those, or we can influence those with our breath. It helps us manage pain. Deep breathing makes things feel better. Try it. I often use it. I think it makes a huge difference. So, I'm out running. What am I going to do? How can we, in that moment, be ready? Well, before we got to that moment, a pre-run breathing technique or exercise is a great idea. Get anybody before practice, I don't care what you're practicing, 2-3 minutes of a simple box breathing, 4-7-8, whatever it might be. If we can practice that and get ourselves in our right arousal zone where we're not too high, not too low, and maybe some people need to pump up after that, maybe some people still need to chill, but either way, it's better than going in all tight. Now, emotional, maybe you need to have some fire, but having a tight body, not going to work. Having an overworked mind, not going to work. Having a ridiculously high heart rate, probably not sustainable. Maybe if you're running at 100 meters, but other than that, we probably need to be able to think a little bit. A pre-run mental rehearsal would be a good thing too. Probably wouldn't have helped us in this situation. I wasn't going to get him to see anything except fire or red in his eyes. But if we can imagine or rehearse ourselves regulating our breath, and maybe even rehearse. I have one of my swimmers do this. Okay, picture yourself behind the blocks. Feel what that feels like when you're not where you need to be. Then watch yourself get into the zone that you need to get into. And do that by changing your breathing. You can rehearse that. James Nestor talks about breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and that's important. Huberman says not a big deal either way, but making sure that people practice diaphragmatic breathing is huge. I did a tip on this not too long ago, and there's lots of reasons for it. You can go back and read that tip. I'll link in the notes. But the bottom line is that the way we breathe and the pace at which we breathe is even more important to how we breathe. Sometimes I can't breathe through my nose. It's not going to happen, and that's okay. But how I breathe, whether it's this way or this way, is going to make a big difference on my carbon dioxide, oxygen ratios, which need to be pinpoint on if I want to be at my very, very best. We need to be able to get into an if-then. If I get in this situation, I'm going to use my physiological side. I'm going to use my cue-controlled breathing. There's a link to that exercise in the tip. When this happens, I'm ready because I've practiced. We don't learn things in the heat of battle. No military is practicing new things in the war. They're practicing in their home base where they can figure out what they need to do, make mistakes, get control of it, and then boom, we can use it because now it's our habit. So we need an if-then. And a simple 2-4 count, and that's what we did in this run. Okay, bud, let's just breathe in, and then I told them when to breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out, and we started to regulate, and we started to think about what our steps felt like and how our body was relaxing, and just being simple with that practice changed the rest of that run. And it also changed the way he felt about the next one. Had we continued to go, it would have been a disaster. But managing that breath, and now he knows that he can do that. He can work himself down into the zone that he needs to be in. He can also get himself up into the zone he needs to be in if necessary. And then finally, a post-run or a post-practice or whatever it is, breathing routine helps flush out all the garbage that builds up in our muscles through exertion. It helps stimulate relaxation. It helps calm our mind and help us think a little bit more rationally about what just happened. And that's really important, and you coaches know that in particular. So all of these reasons point to the fact that we all need to have a breathing practice so that when we're in the heat of the moment, we can call on it and we can change our performance. Is it possible that the key to peak performance lies right here, something that we do all the time? Do we need to get pumped up? All right, change it. Do you need to get chilled out because you've got to be able to think, you've got to be able to manage your emotion, you've got to be able to change the way your body feels? You can do it. Power move number 3, manage your state. If you need ideas on how to implement this for yourself or for your team, send me an email, juliej@ssbperformance.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you. In the meantime, I'll be out running with my son until practice starts, and I'll let you know how it goes. But hopefully his team and the high school team that I'm going to work with will have a if-then. I'm meeting with them on Friday, and I'm going to walk out of there with everybody having a plan. For when I get to this point, I am going to do this with my breath, and it is going to change my performance, plain and simple. Thanks for listening. Have a great week.